I'm Kirby Allison, and I love helping the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes. Join me as we explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition.
It's always an exciting day at Kirby Allison whenever we have a brand new pair of shoes here, ready to unboxed. This is a particularly special pair of shoes. It's from one of my favorite bespoke shoemakers, Dominic Casey, doing exceptional work. And this is the remake of the black cap-toe Oxford that he's made for me. So this will be the second pair of shoes now from Dominic Casey that I have in my wardrobe. And I couldn't be more excited because the first pair, the brown, dark brown suede shoes, I absolutely love. But I'm really looking forward to seeing this in black calfskin, because with a nice mirror shine, those black cap toes are gonna pop, and we're really going to be able to see the beautiful, customized, fully bespoke round toe shape that Dominic Casey created for me. Now, just a reminder, we covered this entire process in detail, all the way from the visit to Dominic Casey in Eastbourne, a small little coastal city not too far from Brighton in England, to that frigid day where in January he measured my feet, through him carving the last, through the first fitting, and through him actually visiting us here in Dallas. So take a look at the description of this video. We'll link to all of our content with Dominic Casey. Also, Dominic Casey has his New York trunk show scheduled for September 10th through 13th of this year. But anyway, without further ado, let's unbox these babies. All right, well, again, I want to find out how Dominic Casey got his hands on one of our boxes. This was quite a surprise. And Dominic told me that he had a few exciting things in store in this package, so I can't wait for us to see what he's got for us. Something he actually said so let's see, what does this say? Don't open until you've done your homework, number one. I wonder what my homework is. So don't open this until I've done my homework. So let's leave this here. Dominic Casey always got something up his sleeves for sure. I mean, this man, not only is he an exceptionally talented shoemaker, but he's an absolute riot and a lot of fun. Nice sturdy box. And let's see, homework number one, homework number two. Exciting. So let's see. I mean, should I open the homework first or should I open the shoes? There's nothing about not opening this before we get to the shoes. I think we're gonna get to the shoes first, because let's be honest, I don't know if I'll be able to wait. All right. This is actually the third pair of shoes that Dominic has made for me. You'll remember that the first pair of black cap-toe Oxfords were actually a little bit big whenever they came, and Dominic, being a perfectionist, and really what you would expect from any bespoke shoemaker that stands behind their work, he insisted on remaking them. So we scrapped that first set of shoes. You can now find them as a part of Dominic Casey's samples, the Kirby Negroni toe. And then the second pair he made, incorporating some of the adjustments from that first pair, was the brown pair of suede semi-brogues. Beautiful shoes, love wearing them. And so then the third pair was the remake of that first pair of black cap-toe Oxfords. And so I'm really actually excited that this is the third pair, because that means that the small little last adjustments are all going to be incorporated into this pair of shoes. And so to be totally honest, I expect these to fit beautifully. All right, beautiful boxing, beautiful packaging. So black, what does this say? Black Oxford cap-toe, which is what they are. Nice little photograph of a Dominic Casey wearing some of his boots with his, I guess, vintage Levi 501s. Man, so much fun. And let's take a look at these. So, I mean, you can never have too many pairs of black cap-toe Oxfords. And I have to say, I'm really excited to be adding these to my wardrobe from Dominic. Well, I don't smell them yet, but I know I will soon. So nice little postcard. Of course, a beautiful pair of alligator shoes from Dominic. So hi Kirby, let's hope they are worth waiting for and they fit. He's got a little bit of a sense of humor for sure. Calf is tougher than the suede you are wearing, so may take a week or so to break in. P.S. Don't forget your homework. Best, Dominic. So anyway, this is really one of the things I love about bespoke shoemaking, and really just buying bespoke, is that relationship, right? So I mean, we're really kind of drawing on a long relationship here, and it certainly makes all this more fun and certainly more meaningful. So Dominic's signature shoe bags, which he does out of a green pigskin. This is a suede pigskin, beautiful stuff. And I actually really enjoy traveling with these. I see he's kind of stepped things up. This is now embossed, and of course his signature kind of dragon tail ends here. Again, a really interesting detail that I appreciate from Dominic. Beautifully packaged to ensure safe transit. Wouldn't want any damage. Look at these beauties. Well, I'm starting to smell the shoes. Wow, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Let's get the other one unwrapped and then we'll talk about them. Beautiful. So look at these. Look at these shoes. I can smell them. I love the smell of a new pair of shoes. I mean, you can smell the quality of the leather. Some of the adhesives, I mean, the bespoke shoemakers use special adhesives that have a really unique smell to it. And this is an absolutely gorgeous shoe. I mean, of course, let's put it on the foot. I can't wait to see it on. But already looking at this, I can tell just how beautifully and well made they are. And wow, this is really exciting. So let's talk a little bit about this pair of shoes before we get on to the homework. First, this is kind of the Kirby Negroni Clubland toe. This is really taking bespoke to the next level, where instead of a house toe like what you would get at Cleverley, you know, the suspiciously square toe, is really a house style. You know, Dominic doesn't necessarily have a house style per se, and is able to develop a completely bespoke and custom, really anything you want. And part of what we spoke about was kind of a reinterpreted round toe shape that would be really perfectly at home in London, but you know, not too round, not too big, and you know, undefined. And so here we have something that really is quite beautiful. I mean, it's round, it's symmetric, but has a nice kind of clip to it. Really beautiful and elegant, quite distinctive. And the other thing you'll see is Dominic having a little bit of vertical loft. Again, not being too flat on the top to really give kind of a beautiful sculpted shape to that toe. I mean, beautiful work in and around here on the waist. And one of the other things Dominic said is he did 15 stitches per inch on the outsole. And so we'll get in on some detail shots here, but look at the exceptionally fine stitching on that outsole. I mean, normally what you would find on a pair of city shoes is maybe 12. Of course, taking it up to 15 takes more time. You've got to use a finer thread to do that, but produces an even higher degree of finishing. Another distinctive feature here is this kind of swan's neck right here. Nice design. It's just a small little subtle cue. You see this on Edward Green's black cap toe Oxfords, as opposed to just this stitching kind of going straight down to the vamp. Of course, it wouldn't be a proper bespoke shoe if it didn't have a seamless back. I mean, look at this beautiful seamless back. It just gives a continuity to this. Look at how the heel block sits underneath the back of the heel, beautifully stacked up and built. I'm seeing a nice pitch here, right? So it pitches in a little bit. It kind of clips to follow this line in. Nice arch support. And wow, I mean, you know, a beautifully finished outsole. Look at that. I mean, again, I find that it's one of those hallmarks of a really well-made shoe is as much attention put into the bottom of the shoe, an area that you wouldn't necessarily see as what you find in the uppers. So these are really exceptionally beautiful. I can't wait to put them on my feet. Looks like we're gonna have to wait for a bit. But wow, I mean, look at the inking, look at the shine kind of on that heel block. And we opted for a slightly taller heel block, give me a little bit of lift, maybe a 1/4 of an inch, slightly less higher than what you might otherwise find, which is something I requested. Beautiful heel, not too clipped in. It's not a fiddleback. I wanted something a little bit more subtle and traditional. It's going to produce a slightly more stable shoe than what you find with like an ultra narrow waist, but still beautifully done. And yeah, I mean, look at these. Exactly what I would expect. Another interesting trivial detail is Dominic actually made these shoe trees himself. Of course, all the bespoke shoe trees that you would find on a bespoke pair of shoes traditionally would be fully lasted. So basically, they're sent out to someone to copy the last, and then they make some adjustments. I mean, they've got to shorten it a little bit and bring it down. So a shoe tree is always a little bit smaller than the last that the shoe was made on, but otherwise perfectly fills in the shoe to ensure that they keep their shape. And Dominic, because of the coronavirus shutdown, wasn't able to send these out to be made by his normal last maker, and so he kind of took it as a personal project to make them himself. I think he maybe regretted that afterwards because it's a lot of work to carve a pair of shoe trees totally by hand. But just look at how perfectly these fit in. I mean, that is really beautiful. So, wow, exceptional shoes. I'm really excited to try these things on. Yeah. Okay, so let's set these aside. So let's look at the homework here. So there's 3 envelopes here. One of them is homework number 1. Homework number 2, some sample leather swatches. That's exciting. And number 3 is don't open until you've done homework number 1. So I'm going to hold this up to the light. I don't want to tear anything. Actually, I've got my letter opener. So why don't we use my letter opener to ensure that we do this without damaging anything. There we go. Homework number 1. Pretty excited. Let's see what's in here. Okay, I have no idea what this is. This looks like a pattern. Okay, so let's see. Oh, wow, look at this. Holy moly. This is interesting. So I know what this is. We'll talk about it in a second, but this is clearly the pattern for an upper. And let's read what Dominic said. So, watched your film with the shoes from John Lobb Paris, where you talked about the single seam shoe and tried to explain the pattern. Long story, but made one on your last. Your job is to glue it together along the black line. Good luck. Okay, well, let's go find some glue. Let's see, so we're gonna go find a glue stick, and we're gonna see if I'm up to the challenge. Okay, so this is turning into a little bit of a homework project, very exciting. So we grabbed some glue. Luckily I had this left over from actually the semester project that I did with Nathaniel whenever he had those shoes made. So we still have a glue stick in the office, and let's see if I can get this together. So what this is, if you remember from the John Lobb video, this is basically the spiral cut wingtip, right? So this is the pattern for a pair of wingtip shoes, but the entire pattern is in fact just one piece of leather. It's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. And the story behind this is that John Lobb Paris, their head pattern maker, who's based in Northampton at their factory, coincidentally the old Edward Green factory, was on vacation in New York and was at the Guggenheim Museum. Now, anyone that's been to the Guggenheim Museum knows that it's like one big spiral. And as he was sitting there, he was kind of just thinking to himself whether or not it would at all be possible to make a pair of shoes out of a single piece of leather. And so that was kind of the genesis for this idea behind the spiral cut. And it really is it's a technical feat to make it so that you can build the pattern like this and it all works out. It's certainly not easy. And so we're gonna see if I can even get this together. I don't even know. So I've got some clues here. So it says glue along the black line. And this is point 1 starts here. And Kirby Allison Bespoke last style, single seam. This is the center back. So I've got some clues here. And so let's get started. So let's see, point 1 starts here. This is the center seam, so this is the front. And I'm supposed to glue along the black line. So let's pull out my glue stick. And it's purple, so this dries clear, so don't worry. This is quite a fun project. All right, so there we go. So the glue doesn't go all the way around. Interesting, I guess that makes sense. Trying my hand at not some pattern making, but so let's see. So point 1 starts here. So this is the facing of the laces. This is the center point. So I'm going to line that up. Shit, I might actually need to get a stapler. So I'm actually going to take some tape. I'm going to cheat a little bit by taping this on the inside. What can I say? I'm too impatient for the glue to dry. Nobody's going to see this tape anyway. All right, so this is the center back line. I'm going to get this to line up right there. We're going to continue to work this around, and this is what's incredible about the spiral cut, is normally this would be several different pattern pieces, but here we just have one. And you can see it's not coming together perfectly. That's because I'm probably not doing it as well as I should be on like a 3-dimension. This would normally go on top of the last, but look at that, there we go. Perfect. All right, final piece of tape. I don't think my glue stick would have held this together. Don't look at the inside. Look at that. So, perfect. I mean, almost. Let's get one more piece of tape in here. If anything, this probably is a great example of how difficult it is to get this together even as a spiral cut. A lot of times, you know, whenever they're working with the leather, they're kind of stretching it, but look at the kind of spiral cut, right? So that's exactly kind of what you're seeing. This is what a pattern would look like. This is, I guess, what would be used to actually cut the leather and spiral cut. So there we go, homework number 1 right here. So let's see about homework number 2. So don't open until you've done your homework number 1. So I'm going to assume that I'm going to open this next. So let's hope that's right. What do we think it is? Oh, okay. Well, let's look at this. So let's see. Dominic has done a better job than I Look at this. It is a burgundy pair of spiral, I guess this would be a seamless spiral hole cut, I guess. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Wow, this is Dominic, you've outdone yourself here. So made a quick one-up in leather. So beautiful. So this shows you kind of how this all comes together as a spiral hole cut. I mean, this is amazing. I mean, this is, again, something that for all that I know, I think John Law Paris actually invented this. I don't think it had been done prior to them having done it. And it is a real testament to, I think, the pattern making that you get out of John Law Paris. I mean, for a ready-to-wear shoemaker, really is quite exceptional. And this is something that I think even for Bespoke would be considered high-end. And here we are. So this is that right there. And then let's see what we have. I feel like this is a scavenger hunt. This is like, you know, this is like what my stepmom used to do on birthdays. But I must say this is better than anything else I've seen. All right. Homework number 2, leather swatches. Hope it's for that. Okay, so let's see. So we've got 3 leather swatches here. This has a little bit of a texture to it that's kind of interesting. And then this is a solid, and then this is a swatch of a museum calf. So, hi Kirby, instead of a shoe shine Sundae, you could do a leather shine Sundae. Put some polish on these and see which one you prefer, if either. The darker skin has a slightly more textured surface, which will pull out when lasting. Give it a pull and try. The lighter is a finer grain that'll develop some patina with age, but you could darken with polish. The smaller piece is the Burgundy Museum Calf. Best Dom. Interesting. So this is the museum calf. You can see basically, museum calf would probably be would be a crust leather, right, which is undyed after it's gone through the tanning process. And then in most cases, the dye would be hand applied. That is what allows this kind of variation in color or patina to develop. You could also do it by spraying an acetone on it to kind of pull some of the polish off. Kind of 2 methods to creating kind of a museum calf. And you'll see on the inside is suede, right? This is full grain leather. This is another piece of leather. This is a beautiful kind of burgundy, right? And with a finer grain texture, which I really like. It has a slightly kind of finer polish, if you will, or finer, aesthetic than what you get with this piece right here, which is a little bit of a larger grain. And Dominic said to kind of play around with, So look at that. Oh, that's interesting. So here, it's not been lasted, but if I pull this, see how these small, like that texture, essentially just pulls out. That's fascinating. That's something to kind of speak to Dom about, see what exactly is going on there. Beautiful, beautiful. So I don't know, I'll have to give Dominic a call and see if he's proposing a spiral cut wingtip as a pair of shoes. I think that in a lot of ways, I mean, this is kind of a grail shoe. It's just such a unique method of pattern making. You just don't see it. And generally, I don't know, I don't own any pairs of wingtips. It isn't necessarily a particular model that I would, jump to necessarily add, with the exception of something like this that is so unique. It's almost a collector's item in some ways. I mean, if you're really into shoes, you would almost just add this for the sake of adding it. So that is a lot of fun. Wow, look at that. Dominic, I love that, man. So much fun. So thank you, Dominic, for sending me some homework. This has been great fun. And I guess let's move on to the next part of the party, which is trying these shoes on. So here we are. I've got these beautiful Bespoke Dominic Casey black cap toe Oxfords here. And now it's for the moment of truth to try these babies on. I couldn't be more excited. So it's interesting to look at these 2 shoes next to one another. These are my Bespoke
George Cleverley black cap toe Oxfords, and these are the Dominic Caseys. And you can see really the difference in silhouette. We've got suspiciously square toe here, and then we've got Dominic Casey's Kirby Clubland Negroni toe, and you know, completely different. I mean, you couldn't. It's a black cap toe Oxford. You know, this one isn't a swan's neck. This one is. This shoe, of course, is several years old. This is brand new, but just look at the difference. What I love about this round toe is it has a finesse and a finish and almost a delicacy to it that you don't get with the square toe. And so I'm really happy to be adding these to my wardrobe. But let's take the shoes off and try them on. I mean, look at these shoes. I mean, the shoe trees are amazing, hollowed out to make them lighter. I mean, hinged, which means that they have to fit perfectly. And you can still see some of the baby powder on it that the shoemaker will put on the last to allow it to slip out more easily. So I've got that in my hands. And then, of course, freshly waxed, absolutely beautiful shoe tree. We've got the other one here. All right. Trusty shoehorn. This is one of our Wellington shoehorns. This is, I think, the 9-7. It's a 7-inch shoehorn, tabbed. This is probably my favorite shoehorn of all the ones that we sell, and this is the one I keep in my briefcase. So here we are. Let's try these. You could even see the baby powder push out of the shoe whenever I did that. I mean, this is, again, that kind of elusive puff of a pair of Bespoke shoes. The reason is that the shoes fit so tight around the foot that whenever you insert the shoe all the way in, it pushes all that air out and you hear it kind of puff out. So let's do that again on the second one. Okay. Absolutely beautiful. Let's tie these. I'll probably put a pair of Wellington shoelaces in these. These are kind of a little thin. Wow. I mean, look at these. Absolutely beautiful. And again, just look at how close they are to the foot. I mean, great arch support underneath. They're not bothering me here at the instep. Absolutely beautiful. And let's see how they look. Absolutely beautiful shoes. Again, bespoke shoemaking is such an art in and of itself. I just have so much respect and admiration for the craft that goes into making a bespoke pair of shoes, not just in the handwork that goes into, you know, physically putting the shoe together, of clicking the upper and sewing it together, closing it, the bottom making, the welting, and all of that, but the work that goes into the sculpture, into the design, into the last making. And I couldn't enjoy these shoes any more than I am right now. And of course, I can't wait to wear them. We're gonna have to, you know, do some more photographs, but I mean, just look at how this comes in around, you know, how it clips the heel right here. I mean, really, you know, once you wear a bespoke pair of shoes and you feel the difference of a truly supportive shoe that is really, you know, fits like a glove, it's hard to go back to a ready to wear pair of shoes just because you feel like you're swimming. And these just do such a great job of supporting the foot. I couldn't be any more privileged and proud to be wearing a pair of shoes from a Dominic Casey. We're going to put a beautiful mirror shine on these things. I love the toe, and you can really see the toe shape and appreciate it with this black calfskin. It's much more easier to kind of see that shape than with the suede because it's reflecting the light, whereas the suede really absorbs it. And it's an absolutely beautiful shoe. perfectly executed and made. It's really everything you'd expect from just a top of the line bespoke shoemaker. And you know, Dominic Casey, for 3,000 pounds, which is still, you know, a lot of money, especially whenever compared to ready to wear, but really is a bargain whenever it's compared to bespoke. It's really an exceptional deal, and he'll be back in New York this September 10th through the 13th of 2020. You can check out his website or his Instagram page, of course, but this is really a beautiful shoe. And one of the other things that I really like about Dominic Casey is that it's quite rare for the shoemaker to do the entire process himself. So Dominic Casey will make the last and then make the shoe from start to finish, whereas even a lot of independents will send out the shoe for the making. But Dominic is doing that totally himself. So it's truly, in the bespoke sense, a bench-made shoe, totally by hand, and only one person's hands touching these shoes. Absolutely beautiful. Dominic Casey, wow, thank you. Beautiful shoes, job well done, bravo. And I can't wait to shine these and wear them. I'm Kirby Allison, and I love to help the well-dressed acquire and care for their wardrobes while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. Thanks for joining me.